So, let's start. It's just me between you and beer. What a nice place to be. I try to be short and light with this presentation. So the title was Hunting Malicious Contact with Spark. I'm actually going to talk more about why we choose Spark as a platform, little bit what we have done so far with it, not going to go any dirty details about any tasks, and then share some experiences we have had with the Spark. What has been great, what has maybe not been not that great, and what we are hoping for the future with the Spark. But first, something about the F-Secure, because I think it's not that well-known company here. So the F-Secure is not really a startup. It's founded quite a long time ago, and we have been doing information security over 20 years. It's based on Finland, but operating globally. And currently, we offer our users, our end users, the power to serve invisibly and securely store and share their personal data, so we have our own cloud storage platform. And our main business have been the antivirus software, and we still produce all the capability to remain safe from online threats. I come from the security labs of the F-Secure, backend systems of the security labs, and when I talk about our Spark users, I actually mean the researchers and analysts of the labs. So what we wanted to provide for our Spark users, or let's say our data miners, was a common platform to run the data mining jobs. In the 20 years, you have plenty of time to write different kind of solutions to different problems, and we thought that it might be beneficial to have a common framework to analyze what we have gathered about our sample files and the URLs from the net. And we listed the properties we wanted for that platform, which, of course, one really crucial one is that it should be really easy to access all the data we have in the different storages, in the relational databases, in NoSQL databases, and wherever. And it should be also easy to write that data back and to operate in the higher level languages or in the real programming languages, share your code with the others, have an elastic cluster capacity, etc., etc. And when we evaluated the options, it seemed that the Spark was the one which fitted quite nicely to most of the requirements we had. Then about the data which we have, so what kind of problems we are facing or what we would like to solve with the Spark. One source of the data, we have basically two data sources. One of them is the client upstream. So we are upstream from our clients, our customers, the blocked infections, beta detections, hit counts for files, for domains, and, well, of course, the crashes of our engines. And, okay, we are doing the privacy business, so it's required to emphasize that we really anonymize the data as early as possible, and we are really strict about that. The other major data source for the data mining tasks is actually our own analysis flow, which is overly simplified here. The background image is more real, but let's not go to those details. So basically the flow is that we get a new sample file or URL. We do some metadata extraction for it. So let's say the file size and whatever easy, cheaply measured information about the file, what file type it is. We push those results to our rule engine, which contains rules written by humans, our analysts, to detect different things. And typically, after the first pass, the rule engine actually calls some other more expensive metadata extraction methods. Let's say that we want our system to visit that URL or to run that file or something like that. Of course, we try to first do it as cheaply as possible, and then if that's not enough, then go to those more expensive methods. And based on that results to create finally the category reputation to provide that to our end customers. And actually when we introduced the Spark to our analysts, one of the first tasks they did, they actually went through our log files and made a nice pictures about what's the typical sample flow in our systems, because it's not always clear as the rules are quite dynamic. That was a really nice example of the power of the Spark, because it was like a tutor project for the person to do it. So what else we have done so far? Well, I think the kind of the obvious starting point is to do some basic map reduce, count something, group something for the data you have to get better insight that what you have actually stored to your databases. And that was a really nice way to also recognize some crap we have stored, what we could get rid of, which doesn't bring any value anymore. And then we are really interested to get into MLlib and get the benefits for the machine learning parts of our systems. And one of the first steps was actually to boost the retraining of some old ML algorithms, not to move them to Spark or the MLlib per se, but just to help the retraining. And then we have started to replace some of our custom toolsets with the MLlib, with a little bit varying success. MLlib is almost there, but not quite for our tasks yet. But I'm really looking forward to forthcoming changes. It seems that it's going into the way we like. And then we have also started to build new things over Spark, like classifying certain clusters of the web with the Spark. So combining the metadata from the different sources and create clusters based on that. So what has been great for us with the Spark? One major thing is the PySpark for us. We are internally a Python house, so using the PySpark is a really great thing. And the speed in general, especially the speed to write the code, to get going, write your first Spark program to get real results. That's awesome. And I think the interactive cell is a big part of it. And then, like Python, it seems that the Spark has the batteries included, so that there's a streaming MLlib, a Shark, or the Spark SQL in the future. And we are really excited about the upcoming Cassandra integration, because we have lots of data in the Cassandra and would really like to take the full benefit out from that integration. Okay. Then those not so great things which we have observed so far. For us, actually, this is more like an internal issue to have some kind of adaptation time from the old systems to the new one. Even though the new one is good it requires some change of thinking and some change of how to do your work. And then with the Spark itself, I don't know how much this is about the Spark and or the PySpark, but the tuning of performance, we are running our own Mesos cluster, how to get most out of it, how to avoid out-of-memory issues here and there, how to optimize the partition of the data, all that kind of stuff. And with the PySpark, we have had some unfortunate random crashes, which are really hard to identify where they come. Probably they are memory issues, or it seems that if you are combining too much to the one variable in a Python, you might end up to problems. I mean that you have a map something, filter something, group by something, and all that in a one line, you're asking for troubles. So based on that, there is actually some hidden learning curve to master the Spark, even though it looks like that it's really easy to get going, but then when you try to run bigger data sets and so on, you find some learning curve there. So what we are waiting to see with the Spark in the future, of course, we want to expand our Spark usage. After all, we have been really happy with the Spark and what it has been provide for us. So we want to use it for the more use cases. We want to go to streaming. So far, we have been playing with the only the other data source we have, not really touch the client upstreams. We want to do anomaly detection there, go to event processing, and we want to get our hands onto that Spark SQL. It looks really fancy today. So I'm really waiting for to get some experience with that. I hope I kept the timing because this was about all I planned to say. So now either go and download our software to give you the digital freedom, or just switch to freedom with the evening reception.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, we'll see you guys at reception. Thank you, guys.